This is Slasher here at MLG Vegas 2016. I am here with Huck, who has been casting the Overwatch event this weekend. Games mostly have gone as predicted. At least I was 100% in predictions before going in. Was the same for you?
Yeah, so far I've been 100%. I think I had this discussion with Rachel. How do you declare it doesn't matter if you say 2-1 or 2-0, right? It's like you either get the prediction or you don't.
No, it can matter. It can matter because you're even more
But
accurate.
it's like extra credit. At the end of the day, if you say "Oh, how'd you do in the tournament?" It's like, "Oh, I went 7-3 in predictions or something," right? You don't go, "Oh, I was 7-3, but I was 2-1 something blah blah blah." Like it's kind of, I'm so far 3-0 in predictions to clarify.
So generally, all the games went really as you thought.
I thought Liquid Phase was going to be more decisive in Phase's favor. And I also thought NRG wasn't going to be as bad as it was. And it was brutal. Brutal. Brutally bad for NRG.
Okay, now is that more due to Cloud9 and how well they might be playing, or is this an issue specific with NRG? And if so, what is the main thing you think?
I think it's both. I'm going to do the political answer and say it's a somewhat of both. I think Mendo really showed up. He was like a big question mark.
Showed up.
Yeah, he showed up. He did really well. The rest of the team performed well. Kai specifically on Diva did really well, and Surefour is just his usual self, I guess. NRG, it's just like it feels like they're lost to a certain degree. There's like 4 or 5 times in their match where they literally have 6 ults, and they have 6 ults. They're going up against Cloud9, and they have like 2 or 3 ults. They use every ult, and they lose the fight. Like, it's just like totally mind-blowing. I feel like if they went into the matches with the mindset like we're playing a pub game and just do whatever feels comfortable and like the general flow of the game, they would have done better.
Is this overall team play and/or shot calling issues, or is this also individual skill not being up to par?
I'm going to say both again, but that's not political. I guess that's like double bad. I would say there has to be roster changes for sure. I think some of the players are somewhat lacking. But yeah, shot calling as well. I mean, every time we cut to them on camera, they're very quiet. I know in general they don't have somebody that's super passionate shot caller to begin with. So yeah, it's bad times right now, I think, for them.
So we do have Envy coming in tomorrow. To me, they are my favorite at least to win the tournament. I mean, this is extraneous circumstances now. It's not going to be good, but Taimu is still, for me, one of those players that can definitely change a whole map and series even by himself, even if he's sick. So for me, yes, more than likely. The other team that we haven't talked about, the other matchup we saw today was Fnatic, taking out Rise 2-0. Are Fnatic and Envy two teams that you think have the best chance, or is Cloud9 FaZe more of a good opportunity for them to take something?
I'm definitely not saying Fnatic. I don't think they'll be in the final. If they do, I think it'd be because they have like a lucky bracket or something, or it just works out in their favor. I would definitely think FaZe C9 are way more likely.
Because Fnatic only has 3 players?
No, I just think the other two are better teams.
I mean, Fnatic has played better in their performances as of late, including like the NG tournament. They played pretty well. What is it? What is your main, kind of issue for that team? Why they're under teams like Cloud9 and FaZe?
I think star power, just raw skill. I think the other two lineups have better skill. I think Fnatic is a really good team as far as coordination and shot calling and stuff, but I think the players themselves are a little bit lacking compared to the other two teams, of course. So it's generally the feel I get. I know scrims don't mean everything, but FaZe ran some scrims against Fnatic. Fnatic was playing on stage with mics. FaZe didn't have any comms at all besides typing, and they were just crushing them. And maybe that's, Fnatic not playing up to par, but if you're on stage, you're the first match to go, you would assume you want to kind of like play your best, or at least somewhat near that, and it looked very one-sided.
So going into the next few days, tomorrow, most of the playoffs, and then Sunday and the finals, what team are you taking?
I think it's FaZe, Cloud9, or Envious to win it all. Obviously, like I said, it comes down to bracket, who plays who.
Yeah, but you can't give me 3
Are you going with
teams.
Envious?
Yeah.
So I can't go with Envious now, obviously.
Could.
If I could, then yeah, I'd probably still go for Envious. I think they have enough consistency between Harry Hook, Mickey, and Taimu that even if Taimu has some off days, and the thing is, you got to realize too, like he's going to be able to get better within the next day or two. So I think they're going to make it out of group stages no matter what, even if Taimu's like a bot. I shouldn't say that word, I guess, but if he was a bot, so yeah, I think Envious probably have the best chance.
Now, you could have picked your boy Surefour, your Canadian man, picked you for the national team at the BlizzCon. You know what? But you could have backed your boy, but you didn't go with Envious. Still think that's probably more likely pick, but you missed your opportunity.
I mean, we had to do head-to-head when NRG played Cloud9 anyways, and I said Seagull overall was a better player than Surefour, so I've already kind of burned that bridge. I like Surefour.
Do you think Seagull's better over a player than Surefour?
I think he's more of a well-rounded player. I think Surefour is better mechanically. I think he has better aim. I think on the characters that he plays, he is better on a skill cap level than Seagull is on the characters that he plays. But I think Seagull is more well-rounded in as far as like positioning, understanding game flow, and decision making.
Now, to change gears a little bit, now you're casting Overwatch, and it's been a long kind of journey from StarCraft to professional, and then doing most of your content and work in that game, to transitioning to Overwatch, and now casting the last few events. How has this whole process been for you?
Interesting. It's been an interesting experience as far as like what my presence is in this scene. Obviously, there's been some backlash from times, but overall, it's a game I really enjoyed since I first started playing it. The first tournament I went to, I actually paid for my flight just to go attend, got paid nothing, took a loss because I like really enjoyed the game. I'm not a pro player, but I consider myself decent. I've hit top 500 both seasons. Rod's like trying to not say anything right now. I have some scrim experience. I've been, you know the laundry list of credentials I have in Overwatch. So I try to do what I can. I'm starting to understand more of what it means to be a caster and how you fit into the role that you're supposed to play, more so than just saying what's on your mind, I guess.
Why did you decide to do it for Overwatch and not, let's say, StarCraft 2?
StarCraft 2 is something I've done for 6 years. It's just, after doing it for that long, you kind of get sick of it to a certain extent. I still keep up with StarCraft 2. I still watch a lot of the tournaments. I keep up with results. But time for a change, I guess. And StarCraft 2 scene is like very established too. There's those go-to casters that work every event. So it's like a multifaceted answer, I guess. There's multiple reasons.
Now, I mean, I do have to admit, as you transitioning over, I have personally been slightly opinionated on some of your casting work that you've done, which I think most of my frustrations publicly have been when you trying to go the analyst route of not having the same kind of pedigree as other players. What are your feelings about how maybe criticism has gone either from me, which could be different than other people, but in general, like the whole process?
I think me and Thorin obviously haven't gotten along for the majority of the time we've known each other. I take all criticism seriously, so I watched his video, I read your comments, I read the pro Discord. In general, I will say that I have the respect of most pro players. Tier 1, coming to LAN event pro players. I've done a lot of work behind the scenes to help them with different things as much as I could. I'm a former pro player myself, so it's something I strongly believe in. Pro players, their rights, doing right by them. I think I'm probably better analyst than most people, or even what you think, I guess. I mean, even from like a job opportunity standpoint, I think I've been offered head coach analyst job more than anyone else. Probably been offered more money than anybody else. So obviously some players believe in me, but I do a poor job sometimes of portraying that. And there's also like not a lot of tools that are necessary in Overwatch to do that. There's a lot of times we don't get to pick what replays are shown. We don't get to show stats. We don't get to telestrate things. There's just, you come to the desk and for the last hour things have been going on and you can't be like, you remember that thing that happened at 2 minutes into the first map at that point? That was really cool. So, yeah, I'm just kind of fitting my way into the scene and doing the best I can, and hopefully I continue to improve.
You kind of made a name, I would say, for yourself here at MLG events a long time ago with many different, I mean, you were the only international StarCraft champion, made me shave my head at BlizzCon. That was you, one of the only foreign players to actually do that against a pretty stacked Korean field. You, of course, had the hallucinated Void Rays against Idra, which has been referenced so many times, amongst many other moments you've had here. Now coming back, like I would say, much later in a kind of a different environment with Overwatch as a caster and with MLG now being kind of owned by Activision and Blizzard. How has this whole experience been for you? What do you think?
It's been very refreshing. I haven't been to an MLG in a long time. I'm not sure about you, but seeing the Call of Duty system set up, kind of like that whole open bracket thing, the darkness of the room. I don't know. It seems like the same MLG, right? Just different games. I missed it. A lot of good times I think happened back then for both of us. So it's been really fun, and you see a lot of the same people, through the years. I mean, we've known each other for a long time. There's a lot of staff people that are now MLG that weren't before, or are working on like a white label production side of this event. So it's cool. I always think it would be really cool to have like an Overwatch open bracket, even though it would be extreme.
I agree.
But it would be like, the thing is like for StarCraft, for example, there's rarely ever like a Cinderella story where someone actually rises from the ashes and does really well and then signs with the team and like continues that prominence. I would say like Scarlet was one of the only people that did that through IPL. But it's exciting. And I think it's really cool just seeing like all the Call of Duty teams with their unique jerseys and having those storylines. From organization standpoint, it's hard for tournaments. You got to hire a bunch of staff. You got to deal with a bunch of tech issues. You got to have a bunch of PCs. You got to have a bunch of admins. You got to notify them when they're playing, how they're playing, all this stuff. But that being said, I would personally love to see it. I think it'd be really cool. So hopefully someday.
Well, MLG, you heard it here. Get that open bracket going. Huck is going to compete. I've seen his Tracer and Ryan. It's going to be a long road for them, but he could do it. I believe in it. Thank you, Chris, for talking to me. It's a Slasher at MLG Vegas 2016. Stay tuned to Yahoo Esports for coverage all weekend long.